Welcome back. Hello everyone. Get 100 back with another video for you guys today. And today's video is the, well, wait, no, what did I say today? Well, you know, it's still the same day anyway, so who cares? And this video is the hero AU on What If Deku Had All for One. I know I posted the villain AU, but like I said, the villain and hero AU are like two completely different AUs. They're like two separate timelines while having the same concept. If you guys came from the villain AU, this is not a part 2. This is part 1 of the hero verse. So in case if you guys don't want to listen to that, then I suggest you guys just wait till the villain AU part 2 comes out. Cause I mean, it doesn't matter, because if any of them get like the 5 likes, like the hero or the villain, what if, I'm still gonna do that. Well, maybe one might get finished before the other, because, you know, making 2 videos of the same series is gonna get annoying, but not really, because they do follow a different storyline. But anyway, this is What If Deku Had All for One. This is the hero timeline. So let's stop with the reaction. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Cue the intro.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
So we cut to Izuku Midoriya being born. Obviously, a little baby boy with, well, him in his loving father's hands. Welcome to the world, Izuku. As we all know, this is All for One posing as Hasashi Midoriya. Oh man. Also, Deku looks massively different. Give me 1 second. Just like in the villain AU, Deku's hair is mostly white with green at the end. Like I said, Deku looks like a freaking mint. So, yeah, the black in his hair in the original timeline, just put that as white and he still has the green. So, that's all the thing that changes. So, we're going to go back now, instead of, well, us just going into a deep dive into it. So, while All for One is putting on the facade of being a happy father, Izuku, just like his dad when he was a baby, had in a complete reflex, took one of his father's many quirks, and crazy enough, by some sheer coincidence, it was the spike quirk that All for One took from his mother when he was born. It was absolutely insane. So 1 sec, let me show you what it is. Yeah, just like this quirk back in the day, Deku can do the same thing, but his All for One is much more powerful than his father's ever was. Let me explain. Just like in the villain AU, All for One's ties to One for All are completely well, in this timeline, they are actually the same thing, because for that solid fact that, well, All for One is the creator of One for All, basically. He gave his brother, younger brother, the stockpiling quirk. So, since he's the original creator, his essence still lives inside of One for All. And with that, All for One, like, if he ever had a child that would have had his quirk, it would have been stronger due to the stockpiled energy within One for All. Now, Izuku, on the other hand, currently, okay, he's the only user in existence to, well, ever be known with All for One. And just because All for One is tied to One for All in this situation, Deku's All for One is like okay, what's currently 8? Basically, gosh, Deku automatically skips to, like, you know, oof, my god, his limiter on All for One is basically broken. So Deku ain't the 9th of anything. Basically, he skips to, like, since he's the 2nd user of All for One, he basically has all the stockpiled power up to this point. So Deku's All for One like this. If he were to take your quirk, he would, one, automatically know how to use it, and how it would best benefit him. So basically, he has master strategist already implemented inside of his All for One. And number 2, the quirk is even stronger with him. If he were to give your quirk back, okay, if Deku were to take your quirk, basically Deku would already have the quirk, like a quirk awakening with that power. So automatically, it's pretty busted. So yeah, basically the same as the villain AU, making their powers completely the same. So, but only difference is that this is a hero AU. And Deku has this spiked quirk right now. So, oh my gosh. So, All For One, upon realizing that his quirk was taken, would then realize that his son is one and the same, exactly like him. Uh-oh, dang it. Sorry about that, guys. It's just a freaking stupid notification. Anyway, so All For One would realize that his son is one, that him and his son are one and the same. As he would raise Izuku to his face, he would say, "My son, Izuku Midoriya, you were blessed with the same power as I once was. You will carry on my legacy. You will be by my side as the next Demon Lord, as the next All For One. You can be even better than I can. No, you will be better than I ever was. With your power, no one will stand up to you." As All For One completely realized, yes, he could have taken Izuku's All For One and given Izuku his original All For One, but no. Something within his son is definitely perfect. All For One can't seem to just want to tarnish this perfect being that he's created. It's kind of like Cell from Dragon Ball Z, if you guys don't know. He was kind of made to be the perfect being, and that's Izuku right here. He's the perfect blend of All For One's genes and his mother's. It's almost as if All For One can't take his quirk, and, well, if that would be the case, he wouldn't be able to, but still. Izuku is blessed with an extraordinary power, and All For One wants it by his side. Another copy of All For One that's even more powerful than his. His son can definitely be the next All For One, and with his help, his dreams will come to fruition. So let's cut to a few years later now. Just like in the villain AU, All For One would stick around Deku's life a lot more than he originally did in the series. We don't know when exactly he left Izuku, or when Deku's dad exactly left. Probably like around this time when he was a baby. But in this AU, All For One did stick around. He wanted to keep tabs upon Izuku. And just like in the villain AU, All For One didn't go to fight All Might and get that grievous injury. So his face actually still looks fine. This is the real, genuine All For One and not a fake copy. He wants to be there in person to personalize Izuku's growth and basically nudge him in the direction he wanted him to go. He would always keep tabs on Izuku and make sure he was okay. And Inko took that as to Hasashi being an affectionate father. And All For One had, well, basically thought of this as the perfect idea. He got into contact with his doctor and everything. He wanted the doctor to keep tabs on Izuku, to be his personal doctor, to make sure nothing could go wrong. Because if the heroes found out about Izuku's quirk, immediately they would look into everything, and automatically right there, it would be game over for him. If Izuku went down the path of being a hero, everything would kind of would go straight to hell with his plan. So we just keep cutting to All For One, bonding with Izuku. And I mean, he was always there, but he did know that All Might was in the back of his mind, and if anyone could foil his plan, it would be him. Because Izuku did have a small attraction toward heroes, even though All For One would implement his ideas into Izuku's brain, and Izuku would take them to heart because that's his dad. Why wouldn't he? He would always show, like a fire would light in his eyes once he sees a hero in action. Him and his dad shared that quality. They would always watch heroes, but for two different reasons. Okay, well, All For One wanted to see if the hero's power was good enough for his quirk to take. Izuku, on the other hand, he had noted everything down that the hero would do in that fight. Oh yeah, and this is where the two All For Ones differentiate. All For One has to personally touch your body in order to be able to take your quirk. Izuku doesn't. If he sees your quirk in action, I mean, that's not a factor. He doesn't have to see it in action. All he has to do is just want your quirk, and guess what? It's automatically his. Because just like his father, Izuku has holes in his hands. But Izuku naturally wears gloves all the time to keep that hidden. And so does All For One. Well, or to leave less suspicion, they, you know what, nah, because that would raise too much suspicion while a child is wearing gloves. They would basically try to hide them whenever they could. So whenever they would go out in public, they would make sure the palms are faced to their own bodies, so people wouldn't actually see or just notice. I mean, you'd have to pay attention to be able to notice, because if a person's hand was closed, or if you're going in for a high five, your hand is raised, and if a person high fives you fast enough, you won't be able to freaking notice a hole in their hand. So basically, that's just natural. All right, but then we would cut to when it's time for All For One to go fight All Might. All For One knows that if this plan is going to go as it needs to, he needs to get All Might out of the picture. He needs to finally end that reign of One For All. And as Izuku would start to cry because his dad is going to leave, as obviously, okay, All For One was working from home this whole time. Basically, he would always stay inside the house. He would go outside with Izuku sometimes, but only when Inko was there with him. So there were actually no heroes that saw his real face at the time. You know, I mean, none of the big heroes actually saw his face. Only small-time heroes, and they didn't really notice because they were always fighting crime and noticing other things. So when it was time for All For One to go fight All Might, Izuku would rush to him and beg his dad not to leave, saying that he'll miss him. And All For One would tell him, "Don't worry, I will be back, and we'll spend a lot of time together. I promise, Izuku." As All For One would leave, as he would go fight All Might and get that grievous injury. Now we cut to Izuku's 4th birthday, when Inko would finally take him to the quirk doctor. And Hasashi would have told Izuku to keep his quirk under wraps and to never show it off to his mom or to never use it, because they both have a special power. One that society, no, the world would fear. And if anyone found out about it, they would treat you as a villain. But All For One knows Izuku is much more than that. He is the best thing that's ever happened to him. As All For One is speaking, you know, metaphorically, but he also says it completely literally. As Izuku is his prized possession, and he would never let anything happen to him. As he does mean that. You're my precious boy, Izuku. You mean a lot to me. As in his head, you know, All For One would also say, and you are a key factor in my plan. So Izuku, I mean, yeah, would part ways with his dad, as, you know, the same thing would happen. But at the age of 4, it was time for Deku to finally go get his quirk checked out. But Izuku already knew what it was. Sorry, this is another factor of Kid Izuku. So as Izuku would go to get his quirk checked out, the most terrible thing for All For One happened here, because this is the hero AU. The doctor was nowhere to be seen. He was running late. And so when Izuku was still in the waiting room for longer than he should have been, another doctor came to see him. And at the time, since Izuku was very young, it was a young recovery girl. So Izuku went into Recovery Girl's office instead of the doctor he was supposed to see. And when she checked out Izuku's quirk, she was terrified. No way that quirk can be resurfaced. As she said, excuse me, excuse me, young man, but may I please see your hands? As Izuku would stretch his hands out, palm face down at the floor, like, Recovery Girl would grab his hands, as Izuku would be afraid that she was going to turn it over. Like, as Recovery Girl would try to turn his hands, Izuku would actively resist doing that. Like, he would try to turn his hands, palms face right back down to the ground. As, like, Inko would want to know why is Izuku doing that, because if a child's actively fighting you to put their hands back down, something's wrong here, and Recovery Girl would know. This child must know something that she doesn't. Like, young man, please, I need to see your hands. Like, Izuku, flip your hands over. Like, Inko would tell him that, and Izuku would be kind of shaking as his hands flip over. But as Recovery Girl would see, as we slowly cut to when Izuku's hands would pan to the side, Recovery Girl would see the dreaded hole there, as it would be completely exposed to now his palm is facing the roof, and Recovery Girl can see. She would be terrified, as Inko would be able to see the terror and the fear within Recovery Girl's eyes. No way. As she would grab Izuku's other hand and flip it over, as he has those dreaded holes there. She's seen those holes before, as when she was trying to save All Might and he was barely left alive. Damn. As Recover Girl would say, young man, do you know what your quirk is? Like, Deku would say, yes, he knows what it is. His dad told him to, not say anything about it. Well, okay, hold on. Wait, scratch that scene. I kind of want to keep that under wraps for right now. As Recover Girl would say, young man, I need you to demonstrate your quirk really quickly. And Izuku would say, okay, as his eyes would flash red. As Recover Girl, she would almost jump back in fear from what she saw. That face. Bro, it's exactly like him. As Recover Girl would try to use her quirk, as she can't use it anymore. She doesn't feel it. What happened? As Recover Girl would prick her finger and tell Izuku to see if her suspicions are true. And they were. As Izuku would kiss her hand, her finger would, the wound would close back up. As she would ask Izuku, young man, can you please give my quirk back? And Izuku would do that because he has no reason to freaking, keep it. But a piece of him didn't want to give it back. He doesn't know why, but it was a sense of familiarity. But Izuku just said in his mind, he wanted to keep the quirk, but he didn't know why. As Recover Girl would immediately say, I'll be right back. As she goes into a different room, she rings up Detective Tsukauchi. She rings up the top 10 pro heroes. She even calls Eraserhead and everyone else, even Nezu himself. She says, this is a complete emergency. I need all of you here right now. Like, really, what's going on? No time to explain. She even calls Gran Torino because this is that bad. A retired pro hero. And, okay, let me see. Oh, yeah. So they all get there. And Inko was wondering what is happening. As, why are these heroes here surrounding her and her son? What's going on? As All Might would get there, Izuku would be freaking fanboying out. He would have stars in his eyes. And they would be questioning, Recovery Girl, are you sure that this is, like, the problem? Like, as Recovery Girl would come over and lift up Izuku's hands and face them towards the pros. And keep in mind, these are the pros that know about, All For One's problems. Well, Nezu, terrified. Gran Torino, oh my god, bro. He freaking freaked out. And All Might, the shredded horror in his eyes, his wound felt pain at the time. He doesn't know why, but he backed up from Izuku. He was scared of what this kid could do. And Recover Girl says it is our suspicion, as she shows them the footage of Izuku taking her quirk, using it, and giving it right back. And now this was terrifying, as the heroes would walk over because he is still just a kid. But All Might and Gran Torino would have nothing to say to Izuku. As, okay, Endeavor would walk over to Izuku and say, kid, I know this is going to sound strange, but wait, no. Endeavor wants this to be completely proven without a shadow of a doubt. The top 10 pros are here. Even Mirko, Endeavor asked Izuku to demonstrate his quirk one more time, but do it on him. As Izuku would say, are you sure? Like, Endeavor would nod his head, and as Izuku would literally, his eyes would flash red. Now, All Might, he wanted to punch Izuku right then and there, but he restrained himself because that face was just way too terrifying for him to look at. As Endeavor's fire completely dissipated, and Endeavor couldn't use it, he couldn't feel it. But Izuku's flames, they were much different. Instead of Dabi's blue, Izuku, when he used the fire, it shined blue. But then, Izuku, he conjured up a different fire. He conjured up, like, different colors. First it was blue, then it was green, then pink. Like I said, that Izuku's quirk gives him literally unlimited potential with anybody else's quirk. And it literally gives you the quirk awakening. I don't know what Endeavor's quirk awakening would be, but Hellflame, my dude, Izuku turned Hellflame into Omniflame. Until Izuku, so the colors of fire would literally just rapid change until Izuku just conjured rainbow fire in his hand. And All Might and literally Gran Torino knew this is much more dangerous than we thought. So Endeavor would ask Izuku to give him back his quirk. As Izuku, he did, but he wanted to say no. He wanted to not give it back. He wanted to keep it. Bro, this was scary. But he did because this was a pro hero and he couldn't really do that. So this was proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. Izuku could take and give quirks back. When Endeavor got his fire back, he couldn't do the same rainbow fire. But Recovery Girl brought up Izuku's quirk, and it was All for One. But she calls it All for One, like, version 2. Izuku not only takes your quirk, his body is actively built to make the quirk, like, almost infinitely times better than the original user. And he can use it to the best of its capabilities, as proven with Endeavor's fire and her quirk. And and Nezu had gotten an idea. This is their chance to create an All for One from scratch. But they can make a hero out of this kid. Just imagine a hero like All for One. A boy with unlimited potential such as this. And Nezu starts to talk to the heroes. We can't let this boy go down the path of villainy. So that means we can't treat him like a villain either. But we also can't let him become a normal civilian, as no one would ever let him live a normal life. And he could be susceptible to the villains if we were to just let him go. So we're going to have to monitor this boy. We're going to have to mold him into a hero. And All for One in Gran Torino would be completely against that idea, as he's the child of that hellspawn demon. Like, yes, but that doesn't mean this kid has done anything to us. We can... Oh, dang it. Yeah, I'm gonna get that fixed. We can mold this child into something great, even greater than All Might. But we have to trust this kid here. He's still a child. He hasn't done anything wrong. As All Might's sense of heroism, it is there. Even though this is a kid of All for One, he really hasn't done anything wrong. So All Might knows, but he still doesn't trust this kid. Neither does Gran Torino, but he does know what Nezu's saying. As All Might does go over and he asks Izuku what does he want to be. And Izuku says, well, he was conflicted. He didn't know what he wanted to be. But seeing All Might and seeing the top pro heroes here, well, first of all, he brought out a notebook and he asked for their autographs. So that was freaking natural. So, and All Might asked, well, would you like to become a hero? Deku would immediately say yes without a shadow of a doubt. If he can be something greater, if he can be the next #1 hero like All Might, he wants to learn how to save people with a smile, how to make them feel safe when he's around. If he can do what All Might can do, then sign him up to be a hero. As Nezu would say, very well, we will be monitoring your studies. As Deku would not have a normal life. He would, still be friends with Bakugo in this situation, but Izuku, after kindergarten, he would switch schools because UA wants to personally monitor this boy, so they're going to set up an entirely different grade system for Deku. But they will tell Inko what Izuku pretty much is. Your son matches the quirk of a villain long ago. All Might said he thought he'd been taken care of, but he had gotten away yet again. But they would like to see what Izuku's father looks like, as they show him, she shows them, my bad. And yeah, it's a canon without a shadow of a doubt that that man is his dad. Oh, great. So they let Inko know who this man really was, as she was shocked. She had no idea. And All Might tells her, ma'am, without a shadow of a doubt, your husband was going to make your son a villain. With a quirk as powerful as his, and with the unlimited potential it has upon himself, he either would have done two things. 1, taken your son's quirk for himself, or 2, turned him into a villain for his master plan. But Inko said he wouldn't have done that while she was around. Ma'am, this man cares for nothing, but only himself and his power. I have no doubt he would have gotten rid of you to take your son away. As Inko wouldn't have believed it at first, but now, oh god. So as they try to go home to get their stuff to be monitored by other people, their apartment is on fire. Like, what? How is their home on fire? And the firefighters are trying to put the fire out right now, as it was All for One. He planned on getting rid of Inko to take Izuku. As the heroes were right. Basically, what had happened before is, All for One had thought Izuku was going to go to kindergarten like a normal day. He didn't anticipate Inko taking Izuku to the quirk doctor right away that morning. He thought, like, right when he got home from school, then he would ask to go to the quirk doctor. But no, it was right that it was on his birthday morning. So Izuku was going to get a slip from the doctor for him being late. But Inko realized that they were right. She probably would have died in that fire if Izuku just went to school naturally. As all for one, as now, okay, the heroes like gave Inko an escort and everything, but this just proves that they were right. They can't be left alone anywhere, so they're going to have to get a place that's being monitored by heroes at all times to make sure he doesn't come back and they are not in mortal danger. So while Inko agrees to all of that, basically but this also ensures Izuku has a scholarship towards UA and toward being a hero, because that's what he wants now. Now he knows what he wants, instead of his dad getting in his head and talking, about him. But we got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to leave these last 5 minutes up to, All For One just slandering the doctor. Now, we cut to All For One's lair. All For One is throwing a fit right now. He is deadly pissed. Damn it! As he's breaking completely everything, he destroys his throne that he's on. My lord, please calm yourself. You're not fully healed. As he grabs the doctor by the neck. This is the real doctor, by the way, not one of his copies that are all around. Like, silence! Like, you've ruined my chances of taking over the world. Now my son is in the hands of those heroes. Of those damn heroes. They've always stood in my way. Izuku, he was my ticket. He was my golden... he was my literal golden child. I could have ruled the world with him at my side. He could have been the next to me. He would have been greater than me. But your incompetence, your lack of everything else had costed me that chance. You have become the most terrible, ineffective minion. Terrible, ineffective minion. I wonder, will you ever stop disappointing me? This, the doctor has never seen All For One this pissed. Even without a face, there's still veins bulging on his head, bro. He is deathly mad. Like All For One, Master, please, no. This was inexcusable, and with problems, and with failing me, there come harsh consequences. But you, Doctor, you get a special consequence for this. Like, sir, please, what are you? I think I've had enough with all of this. As All For One grabs a syringe and he injects it into the doctor's neck. Since you like making me undead Nomu so much, I'm going to make you one. That way I know you won't disappoint me with your feeble human mind. As basically he injects the doctor with a Nomu syringe that turns him into a fucking mindless Nomu. But it still has all the doctor's knowledge of making them. Now we can literally call this Nomu, Dr. Nomu, which is kind of funny in one hand. As now All For One sits back in his throne, basically getting healing Nomus to try to fix him. Now he's realizing, great, my ultimate plan is foiled. What do I do now? As he starts racking his brain for the answer, for the undeniable answer. As he realizes, wait, Izuku still has my quirk. The spiked quirk from long ago. That I'm just, he still has my mother's quirk. His grandmother's quirk. I can use that to still contact with my son. We have a psychic link after all. We both share the same quirk. So All For One starts talking to Izuku in his head. Izuku. What? Dad? As Izuku is basically resting in a hotel that's monitored by the heroes. Izuku's sleeping right now. He's in his own vestige world. Dad? As red and black clouds surround All For One, and Izuku sees his face. Yes, son, it is me. The heroes have captured you. I need you to come back to me. But, Dad, you're a villain. I'm not a villain, Izuku. I'm just majorly misunderstood. No, they've shown me what you've done. I'm not you. On the contrary, Izuku, you and me share the exact same personalities. Because of what the quirks you've taken, you've seen how powerful they are, and you didn't want to give them back. You're not just like me, you are me. No, I'm not. Leave me alone. All in due time, Izuku. I will leave for now, but I am still always within you. As All For One would disappear into the clouds, as Izuku would wake up in the morning, like, he would have a massive headache because, you know, his dad was just messing with his head. But this is only the beginning of a hero AU. As Izuku rejects his father, as he looks at the holes in his hands, he clenches his fist and vows to be better. And that's where we're going to leave this part off, you guys. Whew, I had a fun doing this one. I did a villain AU, and now I just did a hero AU. So, with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this. 5 likes to continue this hero AU, 5 likes for the villain AU. You guys get the picture. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Peace, guys.
I'm with your hoe in the house on the hills. Yeah. I'ma keep it real at the sacrifice and try to get my bands up. Shorty wanna fuck with me, she see me on the camera. She said she in love with me, but really I can't stand her. She just want part of this life cause she see me on the ground. Double tap like who I am. Shit can get dangerous, ride with a blam. Shit can get dangerous, shit can get dangerous.